Mohammed Al-Madi with the effect of nudging techniques on the customization of usability of visual analytics.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. So today I will present our work on the effect of nudging techniques on the usability of visual analytics dashboards. So what is a dashboard, or an interactive dashboard, or a visual analytics dashboard? We define it to be a data visualization tool that enables users to view and interact with complex underlying data using visualizations such as charts, maps, tables, or even text. Sometimes the idea is to be able to view the data at a glance and get something or make a decision. Although we see dashboards nowadays in many places, I'm sure you interact with at least one dashboard during your day, whether it is the physical activity tracking dashboard that is shown to you, a utility provider telling you about your consumption and what's the trends and how you compare to your neighbors and so on. The problem is that we create dashboards for many users, many user roles, goals, and tasks. The lack of tailoring makes it hard for the users to be effective on dashboards often. Customization, which is enabling users to change their own dashboards to whatever they like, could be an option. But there are some adoption barriers. So some users, they don't know that the customization functionalities exist. Some users know they exist, but they don't want to interact with it too much. They are worried they will break the dashboard and they'll make it in a state that it's not usable anymore. And some know about it and know the benefits, but choose not to do it because they can see it as time consuming and they can just get used to a dashboard that is not fit for the purpose rather than customize the dashboard for their purpose. We know from our previous research that at least short-term customizations improve usability on dashboards, whether it is the objective usability, how effective, how efficient they are, or subjective usability in terms of how they feel, the cognitive load that they are on while they're using the dashboard. So the problem, we wanted to push users to use the customization more. And we thought of nudging techniques as a facilitator for that push. So we asked 3 research questions. The first is, can we nudge people to customize their dashboards, basically? The second one is, if we can, then how do these nudging techniques affect usability in terms of, again, effectiveness, efficiency, satisfaction, and cognitive load? And then, third question about the graph literacy. Where does it fit in this equation of nudging, usability, and dashboards? Why? Because in our previous research, we've done like 3 or 4 research, and we saw graph literacy to be constantly one of the most influential characteristics or needs or factors that affect dashboard effectiveness, at least. So we did an experiment with 50 participants. We showed them a weather dashboard that shows some, the usual weather dashboards that you use every day, the temperature, the wind, the pressure, the rain, and so on. The dashboard contained filters, charts, and tables, and you'll see a picture of the dashboard, and then we asked them to perform information finding tasks. So find this information on this dashboard, maybe compare 2 values, and then give me one answer. Measurements again, effectiveness, efficiency, effectiveness, efficiency, satisfaction, cognitive load, as well as customization engagement. So engagement with the dashboard in terms of hovers and clicks using the mouse. So these are the tasks that we gave the participants, some on temperature, some on precipitation, wind speed, but we also combined some of the 2 things, and then we asked also for a forecast of the weather. Independent variables were the nudging techniques that we used, and the user graph literacy, since we gauged it with a standardized short test at the beginning of the experiment. The dependent variables that we measured were the customization engagement and the usability metrics that we talked about. Now, this is the dashboard. This is a synthesis of the components of the dashboard. The dashboard had more tables and more charts, but these are the filters that it had. Right, so nudging. We used 5 nudges, but for the interest of time, I will just explain 2 of them. So, for example, confrontation nudge is where you systematically introduce doubt to the user in order to move them. The idea is to move them from system 1 thinking, which is the more quick, spontaneous, to system 2 thinking, which is more deliberate. So, for example, we said, using data filters and graph settings can help you find what you need more quickly. Without them, you might spend more of your valuable time searching for information. So we're telling them about the consequences of doing something or not doing something. And then the second type of nudge is the social nudge, which exploits the tendency in people to follow others in terms of how they behave. I come to a new neighborhood and I see my neighbor doing something, so I'll just do it, because he's been doing it for forever and nothing happened to him. He's effective, so why not? Right, so what we found, we did not find a significant increase in customization using nudges. So nudging was not effective in making people customize, unfortunately. However, just-in-time prompt nudges, which is one of the nudges we used, was able to reduce dashboard engagement. We're not saying this is a good thing, we're not saying this is a bad thing. It's just a signal for us to pursue. So nudging, one type of nudge at least, the just-in-time, makes people engage less with dashboards. And then in terms of the RQ2, I'm not sure why this is not seen, but this is the RQ2 finding, the effect of nudging on the usability. So we found one of the nudges to improve efficiency, to make people more efficient. And we found another nudge, which is the social comparison, to make people more accurate. 3.5 more likely to answer correctly compared to the control. The control is the one that were not nudged. There were no nudging. Now, in terms of research question 3, the effect of graph literacy, we indeed saw an effect here, or an interaction. So the graph literacy goes from 0 to 4, where 0 is the lowest and 4 is the highest. So those people with level 1 on the lower end of the graph literacy scale, when nudged, they felt more confident. So their perceived performance increased. Now, people in the middle of the scale, they had the highest task accuracy. So when nudged, they tend to be more accurate. Now, people on the highest end of the scale, the highest graph literacy people, had the lowest satisfaction. And this is something we saw constantly in our research. Those who are high in graph literacy, unfortunately, for some reason, they have high cognitive load, or they report high cognitive load constantly. Right, so what is the implication of this? We connect these 3 implications, connect basically our results to suggestions. So we suggest tailoring nudges to graph literacy, as we saw. Nudges affected people differently based on how graph literate they are. And they combine nudges because we saw social comparison to improve accuracy, while just-in-time prompt improves efficiency. So we think if we combine them, then usability increases as a whole, but that's not necessarily the case. We need more research on this. And then make customization feel worthwhile to the user by telling them about by making their benefits visible to the user, and by making it easier for them to go back to the previous state, some reversion. Now, we take this one step further, and we suggest or want to test an adaptive framework to nudging, which is not the static nudges, but the progressive, context-aware guidance on the dashboard to adapt the dashboard in real time. So use the clicks and the hovers and the task success to build user models. So understand your users from these perspectives. Enable co-adaptation, so let the users be engaged, but when you adapt the dashboard, don't just push something on them, impose it. Let them just discard it or just do without it. Make it easy for them. And then save and reuse customization to support user goals dynamically. When a user customizes the dashboard and they might want to use it for a specific task, and that task might be recurrent, so they don't want to go through several customization steps to find the view that they customized. Save that customized view for them. Let them give it a name, and so that they can go back to it more quickly next time. That's how we support customization in dashboards. Key findings, while nudges don't necessarily increase customization usage, so it did not make people customize more, but it enhanced usability. 2 nudges are effective social comparison, improved the accuracy, and just-in-time prompts improved efficiency. And lastly, moderate graph literacy users benefit the most from nudging on dashboards. Thank you very much. I will take any questions.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions?
Thanks for the talk. So a couple of questions. So first of all, you said the nudges were static, not adaptive, but how they were given, how they were delivered, randomly, or they were right there, given at the beginning? And was this an online study? So the 50 users?
50 users, no, we invited them to the lab.
And they were like...
showed them the live dashboard.
And they were normal, like they were...
Yeah, normal
recruited,
people.
like mostly students, or...
Yes.
So
Usual.
yeah, okay, great. So I guess there was also perhaps a component of not necessarily being very motivated in dwelling in or spending time with the dashboard, I guess, because they didn't have any incentive to be more engaged, right?
I agree, I totally agree. So within our research group, we were discussing this, and we know, or at least we agree, that when you rent a car, you're not going to take a lot of time fixing it and making it fit for your purpose. If you rent a car for a couple of days, right, you might just use it, even though it's not to your liking. But if you buy a car, then you are more likely to make it, customize it, to change it exactly to what you need, because you're stuck with it for a long time. We realized that it's just a lab setting, so we need to test it more in the wild and to see, maybe test or make an experiment, or do an experiment on longitudinal use of dashboards, how people actually change, maybe gradually over time when they use the dashboard for a long time. Yeah, but yeah, this is something to explore.
And the nudges were static, presented at the beginning.
Yeah. Some nudges start at the beginning, and some nudges, like just in time. Just in time means when we notice a user filtering 3 times, at least, we know or we think that they are struggling to find some information, so we give them that nudge.
Thanks a lot for the talk. I have one quick question and one comment. One quick question is, when you're designing the nudges, how do you come up with the design of those nudges? Like, where does that rooted in?
What is rooted in?
Yeah, the nudges.
So nudges come